What is going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Biggs. Welcome back to another video, man. I know it's been a while, man, but I'm back. I'm back with another one, man. Today we're reacting to Joburg Fire discussion there. Usindiso building, previously known as Women's Shelter. Let's just check it out, man.
One's downtown because of what happened last week. 80 Albert Street in Marshalltown has had many incarnations since the building was erected in the 50s. A fearful place, it was where passes for black people were processed during apartheid, even had a court for people found guilty of contravening pass laws. In later days, after the apartheid era was over, transformed into a place for skills development and a shelter for women and children.
Okay.
And that, of course, is before the building was hijacked, turned into squalid accommodation in unsafe conditions, which, of course, led us to last week's fire that killed 77.
And the people, the owners of the building, the abandoned buildings, of course, they gotta be owners, bruh. And the owners, you find out that it's drug lords, people who are not from this country, South Africa, just people from other countries, man. And they just come here and just make a mess, man. It's sad, man. Yo.
People. We speak now to Dr.
They
Rebecca.
make a lot of money, bruh. A lot of cash, bruh. We are talking about millions here. Imagine if these people are paying maybe 1,000 rands. And in a single room, you find out there's 5 people divided. Maybe this small room, maybe a 5-meter room, it's divided into five, not even 5, 2 rooms. 4-meter divided but then they're super small, bruh.
Walker. She's a research associate at the African Center for Migration and Society at WITS. But from 2011, she and Dr. Glynis Clackerty ran an art-based project.
Marshalltown building, which caught fire last week, claimed
at 80 Albert Street.
Claimed
Thank you so much for
the lives of more than
Talk
70
us about
people.
The work
What?
that you did at the
It's sad,
Usindiso
man.
shelter. I would imagine it must have been quite inspirational to work in a place that was helping women and children.
Sure. I'd like to first just share my deep sadness with the loss of the 77 lives and the 88 people that were injured in the fire.
It's 77. More than, they say more than. I thought they concluded that it's exactly 70
week.
people.
I knew the Albert Street building well. I actually started working there when volunteering in the creche that was run by the shelter, and then went on to run the art space project with Dr. Glynis Clackerty. It was inspirational in the sense that it was a building where people were able to find temporary safety, where women and children were able to get on with their lives, to develop some kind of routine, to be able to establish themselves a little bit in the city. But it was also, a building that obviously had quite a brutal past, was already in a state of decay, and was very clearly needing a lot of support.
But then, guys, how does it the building become in a state of decay when there's a mayor of the certain city or place? This exactly shows that they don't give a shit about what's happening in the cities, in our cities, and as long as they get cash, man.
And
but then what can we say?
Sort of a plan to really revamp the building to make it safe for those who are living in it.
How and why did it fall foul of hijackers? Were you still involved at the time?
No, I wasn't involved at the time. I had already stopped running the art project as it just ran over a couple of years. What we know is that the Usindiso ministries left.
Man, just look at this, man. Are there any people who are living inside? Find out that there are kids,
some of those
man.
who were staying in the shelter had stayed on in the building, but then more and more people started moving in, which obviously happens when people are desperate for accommodation, are desperate for a place to stay. And
another thing I'm asking myself, if these people are moving into these abandoned homes, why can't they just at least clean? Just guys, look at this dead man.
After that some of those who were staying in the shelter had stayed on in the building, but then more and more people started moving in, which obviously happens when people
at least if they get inside here, then they fix them and then just look at this, man. Just look at this. How can a person eat like in front of this? Man, come on.
And
Or even like the people who hijacked these buildings, the owners of the like hijacked buildings. Why can't they just call people to clean up?
and after that, it basically was although it belonged to the city, it was very much an abandoned building, and the lives in it were also abandoned in the sense that people were really left in a place of severe danger. That it was known, sort of the state of disrepair was known, fire risks were known, so it very quickly fell into this very dangerous space that it became.
And as you say, yeah, it's always been a government building. We understand at one point there was an arrest of some of the hijackers, but it seemed that process of paying rent to people who didn't actually own the building continued, because that's what survivors have spoken about as well. You also work at the African Centre for Migration and Society at Wits University. So this is very much the sort of thing that I would imagine you deal with on a regular basis. How do we accommodate?
And the residents of these buildings, man, these are people who are flooding to Joburg from like Limpopo, KZN, everywhere from the world, man. But then I guarantee like maybe 60%, if not 70 or 80% of the people that are occupied this place, they're not even like South African citizens, bruh. I'm telling you. That one is 100%. There's no complaints or a debate.
What does government
not
need
even
to
complain?
do
There's no debate
to
about that.
accommodate the thousands
We know.
of people that flood into Johannesburg
Just
every
our
month
government
looking
doesn't want to
for
make
a better life?
any moves with it.
Well, I think the first question should be about how we get perspective.
Just look at
on
this, man.
For a start,
Why can't
we
they just
don't
get
know
curtains,
how many
man?
of those
There are
who lost
curtains
their
that are being
lives
thrown
were
away or
non-nationals.
like.
We can assume that many were migrants, both from within and outside of South Africa. We can assume that many may have been without.
I'm not like saying this in a like judgmental way, but then it's like this is just what I'm asking myself, right? I'm sure you are probably asking yourself the very same questions too, bro.
Documents, because many South Africans as well as non-South Africans face challenges in accessing documentation.
You see,
but this is not an issue or a problem of migration. Joburg was a city built on migration. South Africa is a country with
what? Joburg was built for migration, yes, we know, but then that just gotta stop, man.
a history.
What are we having the government for?
Contemporary life around migration. But the real issue is around how the city is structured, how the city is run, and the very clear failures in terms of providing affordable housing, in providing access to documentation, which would mean that people then can access decent housing, can access jobs, and can actually live lives with dignity. I think that obviously some of the ways in which migrants have been blamed,
drink water, guys.
in this tragedy have been blamed, have fanned the flames of xenophobia. It's very easy to blame migrants, but actually, it's the same as if we look at the healthcare system, we look at the education system, blaming the country's 5-6% of which is the number of non-nationals within the country, blaming them for these deep structural issues and the sort of embedded rot in terms of really being able to provide and respect people's dignity. It's completely misleading, and it really deflects from really looking at what the real problem is here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that perspective,
Thanks.
Dr. Rebecca Walker. She's a research associate at the African Centre for Migration and Society at WITS. In 2011, she was involved in a skills team working on art projects for the women at the Usindiso shelter.
I'm out, man.